Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Minnesota.
The sun is trying to peek through here at Target Field for Game 2 of this 3-game series between the Tigers and the Twins. A crisp April day, but a beautiful day nonetheless for some baseball. Welcome to Target Field. Jamie Hirsch and Jack Morris here as we creep closer to first pitch. Torii Hunter was a fan favorite when he was here with the Twins. It's been 7 years since then, but it seems like every time he comes back, Torii Hunter is there to haunt his old team, and we saw him do more of the same last night, 3 for 5 with a pair of doubles and a pair of runs batted in. This guy's 38 years old, but he still loves to face his former team, Jack.
We talk about Derek Jeter as being a pro's pro, and I gotta believe that Torii Hunter is in the same category. This guy has got so much energy and enthusiasm. 38 years old, in still tremendous shape, and he comes back to haunt his team because he wants to prove the organization they made a mistake by letting him go. That's the kind of guy Torii Hunter is. He wants to win that World Series ring before his retirement. He's still driving the ball all over. He's running as hard as he can. He's just a guy that's infectious with his energy and his excitement for the game of baseball.
Happy to see him back here, regardless of what he does to the Twins pitchers out there. But from the past of the Twins to perhaps a big part of the future of the Twins, Chris Colabello, the story of the season for Minnesota. He picked up his 27th run batted in last night, and that is a new Twins record for most RBI in the month of April, breaking no other than Kirby Puckett's record of 26 set back in 1994. What kind of story is Chris Colabello here?
Well, he's a wonderful story. He's a feel-good story here for the Twins so far in the early going, but nobody expected Chris to do this. And the more you watch him, the more you think, hey, this guy could be legit. This could last all season. He could be among the league's best hitters when it's all said and done in the month of September because he's been very consistent for an entire month now.
Yeah, this is no longer a blip on the radar. A very good first month of baseball for Chris Colabello. Mixed bag for Phil Hughes, and coming up next, Dick and Bert will have a preview of the matchup on the mound today.
Fourth is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. And by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. It's another Saturday in the park. Twins and Tigers, game 2 of a 3-game series, with the Twins hoping to get back above the 500 mark. Anibal Sanchez looking for his first win of the year. And after ending a long winless streak, Phil Hughes today hopes to start building a winning streak. And good Saturday afternoon to you from Target Field. Dick and Bert with you for game 2 of this series. Twins are really looking for a good start from Phil Hughes here this afternoon.
Well, Phil Hughes coming off a very good start in his last start. And you know what? The key for Phil Hughes here, stay away from the multi-run innings. That's one thing that has hurt the starters. It hurt Kevin Correa yesterday when he gave up 7 runs in the 3rd inning. Same thing for Phil Hughes. He's had 4 starts. In 3 of those starts, he's given up an inning where he's given up 3 or more runs. His mound opponent here this afternoon will be Anibal Sanchez. Sanchez had some shoulder issues in spring training. Didn't get a lot of work in, so they're kind of working him in slowly. His last start, an outstanding start against the Chicago White Sox for 6 innings. Then he kind of ran out of gas in the 7th.
Both teams have overworked their bullpens. Both managers said before the game today that there are relievers for their team that won't be available for play here today. Twins hoping to get back above the 500 mark when we come back. Winning 5, losing 4, and a bad ball game last night all the way around. Brad Ausmus had to bite his nails a little bit toward the end. The Twins came back from a 10-1 deficit to make it interesting. As a result of him having to use his bullpen, he's in not a whole lot better shape with his bullpen than Ron Gardenhire is with his. The Menards batting order for game 2. Ian Kinsler in the leadoff spot. Torrey Hunter batting second. Then Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, Austin Jackson, Nick Castellanos, Andrew Romine, Brian Holiday, and Rajai Davis.
And starting this ball game and hopefully going deep into the ball game, as Dick was talking about, is Phil Hughes making his 5th start. He is coming off his first win in 17 starts in his last start in Kansas City. This will be his 11th career start against the Tigers. He's won 5, he's lost 6 in ERA over his career against the Tigers at 4.71.
Northland 4 defense for the Twins, and a speedier outfield. Both Hicks and Fold are out in the outfield along with Jason Kubel. Trevor Plouffe, Eduardo Escobar left side of the infield. Brian Dozier, Chris Colabello on the right side. And Osmil Pinto getting duty behind the plate. Twins have not done well in series opening games. They've won just one so far this year, but they've done better in the balance of the games in the series, and that's what they hope to get done here in this Detroit series.
Well, for 7 seasons, Phil Hughes wore a Yankees uniform at the major league level, and now a Twins uniform. As you look at the umpires,
and Molino getting the plate. If it seems like the Twins starting pitching is taking a big step backward lately, they have in the last week and a half. Just one quality start. It was Hughes' start against the Royals. He put together 6 really good innings and then ran into immediate trouble in the 7th. Kinsler, Hunter, and Cabrera in the first inning for Detroit. And the first pitch over the inside corner, strike 1.
Hughes basically fastball. He'll get it up in the mid-90s. High fastball. Keep it down. Little cutter, curveball, and a changeup.
Partly cloudy skies. 50 degrees at game time. Breaking ball. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
That's that little cutter right there by Hughes at 88.
Fouled back. The disappointment for the Twins in the starting pitching department a little bit different than in other years when they were hoping that Liam Hendricks and people like that would be able to translate minor league success to the big leagues. This is different because Nolasco, kind of a known quantity. Correa, Hughes, it's a high fly to right and fold back now in. Makes the catch one away. This is different because the Twins are dealing with some known commodities. Nolasco, Hughes, Correa, to a lesser extent Pelfrey, who really hasn't established himself since the surgery. But I think in a sense, Bert, that makes this even more frustrating for the fans.
Well, you know what? They're getting their feet wet. Sometimes when you get traded to a new ball club, and I went through that a couple times throughout my career, it takes a while to get adjusted. And you're hoping that, Phil Hughes and Nolasco, the 2 main parts of the new rotation that came in over the winter, can get adjusted very quickly now here through the month of April. Okay, time to find yourself and hopefully be consistent.
Hunter taking a mid-90s fastball for a strike. And taking another one down and in for a ball.
That's a good pitch right there. A little sinker down and in. I think yesterday what we saw from Correa, everything seemed to be out over the plate about thigh high, and that's why the Tigers were just hitting everything the other way. Did a great job yesterday. 15 hits, and I guarantee you 12 of the 15 went the opposite field.
In this at bat, 3 pitches, and Hunter's seen something at 94, and then that last one 76. That's a pretty good separation there. 1-2. And that's looped into center, and that'll drop for a hit. Hunter drops a base hit into right center with 1 out in the first.
Now, Torrey continues to be a pest to his former organization. Fastball, don't see a lot of movement from the fastball from Phil Hughes, and that ball stayed about chest high, and Torrey hit it softly into right center.
Miguel Cabrera, the batter. Tigers scored 10 runs last night. Cabrera's contributions minimal by his standards. In fact, when they broke the game open with a 7-run 3rd inning, Cabrera made all 3 outs. 2 ground balls. One of them turned into an inning-ending double play.
Yeah, I was talking to some guys this morning down in the Tiger bullpen or dugout, and Wally Joyner, the hitting coach, he said, Miguel Cabrera's been really swinging the bat a lot better as of late. But when he starts going the other way, you're going to see him pick it back up. And even though he made 3 outs, it was the first out that he made. When Torrey led off with a double, he was able to advance him, and then the dam broke for Kevin Correa.
It's okay, you can use that word.
Yeah.
2 strikes to Cabrera. And flip.
Well, I wanted to say something else, but
still 2 strikes.
he's still fun to watch, whether you're a teammate of his or if you're an opponent. There's Wally Joyner right there in his first year as hitting coach. Last year in Philadelphia under Charlie Manuel.
The guy who replaced Rod Carew at first base for the Angels in the mid-'80s. This one driven to right field and deep. Fold back, and he leaps and can't make the catch. Hunter stopped at second. He'll go to third. The throw to the infield. There's nobody there. And Cabrera will try for third, and he is safe. Fold went back, and it looked like he might have gotten leather on it. And whoever retrieved the ball to the infield threw it to second base, and there wasn't anybody there.
Well, that's what I was talking about, what Waller Joyner was talking about. He's starting to drive the ball the other way. Ball left up again by Hughes. Now, Sam Fold went back. Watch him right here. It looks like it hits the heel of his glove. Yep, and then deflects away. And Torrey Hunter right there, seeing that ball's over the head of third. He takes the chance and moves over to third. He ends up scoring. And I guess Cabrera would be credited with a triple, would he not?
Well, he was going to be content with a double until the throw came in to a no man's land behind second base. At any rate, the Tigers take a lead, and now Martinez. Pop-up foul that'll reach the seats.
They give Cabrera a double with the RBI, and then E9 to Sam Fold.
One strike to Martinez. Short left. Kubel with the catch. Kubel's throw coming through strong to the plate, but not in time. 2-0. So sacrifice fly, and the Tigers jump out in front.
Martinez with his 9th RBI of the year, scoring Cabrera from third base. It's a good hitting ball club. They came in hitting 276. They came in yesterday's ball game hitting 270 because of the 15 hits. Now up to a 276.
Quick start for the Tigers, and now Austin Jackson. Grounded, foul. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Jackson hitting 5th this year, with Kinsler coming over from the Rangers. Right field, and Fold toward the line makes the catch. It's an earned run and an unearned run in the first inning for Detroit. batting order for the Twins has Brian Dozier leading off. Joe Mauer, the DH today, batting second. Then Trevor Plouffe, Chris Colombo, Jason Kubel, Josmil Pinto, Sam Fold, Aaron Hicks, and Eduardo Escobar.
And Anibal Sanchez on the mound this afternoon for the Detroit Tigers. He won the ERA title last year in the American League at 2.57 ERA when he won 14 ball games. As I mentioned before in the open, a little bit of a sore shoulder. He's had a history of shoulder problems. He had surgery on the shoulder 5-6 years ago, so they kind of keep an eye on that. They feel right now he's starting to really take off. This first couple 2-3 starts they felt was still part of spring training. Last outing pretty good for 6 innings. Ran out of gas a little bit in the 7th against the Chicago White Sox, but this guy can pitch.
Fouled back, 2 strikes. Dozier leading the team with 7 home runs, and those 7 home runs have driven in 7 of his 9 runs on the season. Another solo home run last night. Twins have hit 19 home runs on the year, 14 of them solo shots. Breaking ball, missing low, 2-2.
Sanchez making his 8th career start against the Twins. He's 1-2, 1 win, 2 losses, but a very good 2.57 ERA.
That's in the dirt. Holiday, the catcher, has to throw to first, and that completes the strikeout. 1 down. Northland Ford defense for the Tigers. Got Rajay Davis in left, Austin Jackson in center, and the ageless Torrey Hunter in right. Castellanos, their new third baseman. Romine, for the time being, their shortstop. Looks an awful lot like Eduardo Escobar. Ian Kinsler and Miguel Cabrera. Brian Holiday doing the catching. Alex Avila injured a leg yesterday trying to score a run, and so he's going to get today off. Joe Mauer takes a fastball on the outside corner, a strike. Mauer getting a DH day. And again on the outside corner.
Sanchez changes speeds well. Very good control over his career. 30 years old in his 3rd season with the Tigers, coming over from the Marlins.
One and two. Fouled back. You know, the Tiger rotation isn't as deep as it was last year when they had Doug Fister. But you look at the rotation, and the guys who do the bulk of the pitching for Detroit, only Justin Verlander was drafted and developed by the Tigers. Sanchez came over in a trade, then they re-signed him. Same too for Max Scherzer. And when Fister was a part of the rotation, they picked him off from the Mariners in a trade.
Well, Porcello, part of that, he
Right.
was drafted by the Tigers, kind of a new upcoming starter who pitched last night. And then Drew Smyly, a lefty, also part of the Tiger organization that they hope one day will be a starter like Verlander and these other guys.
Slash foul by Mauer. Verlander will go tomorrow. You might want to wear that stocking cap tomorrow when he's pitching. It's supposed to be a little bit cooler. Chance of rain tomorrow.
Mauer 5 hits and 13 at bats against Sanchez. Giving him a battle here, fouling off some pitches.
Tigers traded Fister because they thought they were deep enough in starting pitching. They wanted to open up a spot for Smyly, who is their 5th starter, I guess. But you look at this rotation, and no one talks about Sanchez. You talk about the 2 Cy Young Award winners, Verlander and Scherzer. This guy won the American League ERA championship last year.
The Tigers signed him to a long-term contract.
Up the line foul.
think a lot of people were surprised too when Sanchez became a free agent and the Tigers showed interest in him and gave him that 5-year deal.
Tried to re-sign Scherzer, and he turned down an awful lot of money and said, "Oh, we'll just wait, play this out and see how it goes." Long battle here between Sanchez and Mauer. On the line, but foul by plenty. Maybe a sign of encouragement for Joe as he tries to hold the batting average out of the 250s where it was. Now it's up into the 270s, but hits aside, much longer, more typical Mauer at bats. He's seeing a lot of pitches. In this at bat alone, a lot of 2-strike fouls, including another one. He's making Sanchez work here. Still behind in the count of 1-2.
This will be the 10th pitch in this at bat.
Driven to left. Davis retreats near the track to haul it in.
He pulled the string right there. Basically took a lot off, and Joe a little out front. Fly ball out. Let's take a look at the Mall of America scouting report on Anibal Sanchez. 1 hit shutout against the Twins, or in his last start against the Chicago White Sox. We're talking about through 6, and then allowed 3 runs in the 7th. Last year, good numbers against the Twins. And what he does so well, he adds and subtracts.
Here's Plouffe. He drives it to right field. And Hunter now coming in is going to make the catch, I believe. What a catch by Torrey Hunter, sprawling in right field. The wind knocked it down. Almost dropped it in front of him, but at age 39, he still got there.
Field, and the Plouffe family is here in attendance. Uncle, cousin, dad, and Grandpa Al. This is Al's 2nd visit ever to Target Field. I know you watch Trevor play all the time on TV. What is it like to watch him play in person?
Great. I like to watch him make some good plays out in the field.
He's made a few of those.
Yeah.
You know, they say baseball talent is often handed down. It's hereditary. What kind of talent did Trevor get from you?
He didn't get my speed. He's a little slower than I used to be, but he's got good, quick hands.
You know, Trevor requested that I come up and interview you today because he saw when I sat with Chris Colabello's mom, instant home run. Would you care to make a call defensively for Trevor here in this at-bat?
Yeah, I'll do that.
What's he going to do?
He's going to throw one over to Colabella for an out, make a good play at third base. Diving catch.
Diving backhand stab.
Yeah, diving backhand stab.
All right, Dick and Bert, Highlight reel play coming from third base right here.
Barney, your magic is on the line here. And a foul tip. And that got a piece of Pinto. Castellanos, the Tigers' third baseman.
He got the offense going last night with a home run in his first at bat. His first pitch he saw here at Target Field coming in the second inning, a 2-run home run off of Kevin Correa.
Slow breaking ball, and it's lifted to right about as far away from Trevor.
I was going to say, Trevor better run.
One down, and true to form, Phil Hughes has gotten 4 outs, all of them on fly balls. Our Sanford Health injury report: Oswaldo Arcia on the mend, took batting practice on the field here yesterday afternoon, and reported for duty with the Rochester Red Wings.
Yeah, you said you watched him take batting practice.
Yes,
and
he let it fly.
Yeah. Hey.
Andrew Romine shows bunt, didn't offer at it. It's called ball 1. Romine, I don't know if you call it a big splash or not. He drove in his first run for the Tigers with a bases loaded walk. Made a fine play up the middle. And Brad Ausmus said that's the type of play they're looking for. They figure they've got enough offense in this lineup, whatever Romine provides as a bonus, but they really need somebody to be a reliable and at times spectacular defensive shortstop, and they're hoping Romine can be that guy.
And he was kind of that way in the Angel organization, you know, good utility type player, now getting the opportunity to play short. A late addition, Jose Iglesias out with those fractured shins, and then they tried to get Alex Gonzalez over. They end up releasing him, so Romine getting the opportunity to get some playing time in with the Tigers. 7 years in the Angel organization in their minor leagues, a .280 hitter. And he takes strike 3 right there. All out over the plate. And Hughes picks up his first strikeout.
Twin single game tickets are available and affordable for every budget this summer at Target Field. Special deals available for every day of the week, from dollar dogs to student night discounts to specials for entire families. You can check them out at twinsbaseball.com or 1-800-33-TWINS. 2 down, Brian Holiday, the catcher today for the Tigers. Goes after some high cheese, a swing and a miss.
Holiday, 26 years old, signed by the Tigers in 2010 out of Texas Christian University out of Fort Worth, Texas.
Swing and a miss. I got to get this out of the way or I'm going to hear about it tomorrow. Torrey Hunter's only 37. I said 39.
I have him at 38.
I believe it's 37. Kind of be relieved if he is 38. I'd only be 1 off.
Well, I have him on July 18th, 1975.
Yeah. It says opening day age 37. That must be a carryover from last year. He's going to be 39.
Yes, he is.
Very soon.
Yeah,
so now I don't feel so bad. 2 strikes to Holiday. 38 years old.
Yep.
On the outside corner. Better inning for Hughes. Gets a couple of strikeouts and faces just 3 men. Twins and Tigers on Fox Sports North is brought to you by Subway. Best thing I've seen today was Terry Ryan back at the ballpark. Twins general manager has completed his radiation treatment for the neck cancer that he's been dealing with, and now the biggest hurdles we hope are behind him, and he can get hungry and start eating again. And
that's the biggest thing Terry Ryan told me this morning. Is just he's got to get that appetite going to gain some more weight.
Twins down 2-0. Probably feel like eating.
I told him he could eat with me. Show him how to eat.
Ball 1 to Chris Colabello. Twins hope to perk up general manager's appetite with a come from behind win here today. Colabello tied now with Jose Abreu for the American League lead in runs batted in. Abreu drove in 6 last night for the White Sox. A walk-off grand slam, winning it for Chicago. 2-0 to Colabello.
Yeah, Grant Belfour and Paul Konerko had some words.
And I don't know what the words were, but I'm inclined to take Konerko's side.
He's one of the most
respected.
Yeah, he's well-mannered. But, you know, Belfour, that type of guy, fiery type guy, he's probably yelling at himself. And Konerko, maybe he's yelling at Konerko, but he walked him on 4 pitches. So I don't know what that was all about.
It wasn't Konerko's fault, I don't think. 3-1 to Colabello. He'll be followed by Kubel and Pinto. Swing and a miss, 3-2. You have talked over the years how you like pitchers who show a batter a little more back pocket. Well, Sanchez shows them both back pockets.
Yeah, it really does. He does a good job of getting to the balance point. This is what this is about for Sanchez. Watch him step off to the side, and then right there, keep that shoulder in. And he gets the ball hit right back to him.
One down, Jason Kubel will hit. Our carsoup.com trivia question. And we're showing you Torrey Hunter, but we're flat out telling you he's not the answer. Who's the only active outfielder with 10 Gold Glove awards?
I believe he's wearing pinstripes.
Jason Kubel, the batter. Strike 1. Kubel with a good night at the plate last night. 3 hits, a couple of doubles. He absolutely crushed one to the gap in left center field. And he takes inside, 1-1. Gard and I are putting this lineup out there, and on some levels it's a better lineup with a little more speed in it. It does take Mauer off of first base and make him the designated hitter, and it takes Suzuki out of the lineup, who's second on the team and runs batted in. But you've got Kubel out there on the left with average speed, and then a couple of guys who can run and go get it. 2-1. Skied to short left. Davis coming in. 2 down. That'll bring up Pinto. Pinto getting a chance to catch.
He's never faced Sanchez, so this will be his first look at Sanchez.
224 average, but 16 walks, giving him an on-base percentage of an even .400, which that part of it is outstanding. One more walk than strikeout. And a bell-tie strike, 1-1.
92-mile-an-hour fastball.
Couple of shakeoffs. Down low, 2-1.
Both these guys from Venezuela. Sanchez born in '84. Pinto born in '89.
You've seen just great plate discipline from Pinto that time. A check swing. And a walk, number 17 for Pinto. He is now tied with Brian Dozier for the team lead in walks. But Dozier has 91 at bats and Pinto has just 58. Brings Fold to the plate. The runner on and 2 out. Fold has hit just about everything hard since putting on a Twins uniform, and last night when he shattered his bat, he still got a base hit.
Yeah, like Pinto, Fold has never faced Anibal Sanchez.
Swing and a miss. 0-2.
Sanchez, as I mentioned before, making his 8th career start against the Twins, his 178th major league start.
Check his swing. 1-2.
Sanchez, when in his rookie season back in 2006, pitched a no-hitter against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Also has 4 one-hitters.
Popped up, backing out of play.
Twins will see Verlander tomorrow that has 2 no-hitters. Sam Fold, since he put on a Twins uniform, 7 hits in 14 at-bats. Driven in 3 runs, 3 doubles.
Quite impressive. And Fold chips one behind third. And Davis makes the catch in foul territory. Twins get a base runner. They're looking for their first hit. It's 2-0 Detroit.
Is presented by Century Link, your link to what's next. By Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealers today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here.
A pleasant, cool Saturday afternoon with the Tigers up 2-0. Dick and Bird with you. Bringing you game 2. Rajai Davis will lead things off against Phil Hughes, who has thrown 32 pitches, 28 strikes. You know, we've obviously seen too much bad starting pitching over the last few years, and when we have seen a well-pitched game from the starter, with all due respect, they make it look easy. I know it's not easy, but if you throw strikes, get ahead of hitters, it doesn't seem as tough as it does when you don't do that.
You know, even when you're a little kid in Little League, you know, your coach says, hey, get strike one. It's so much easier to pitch, and that filters all the way at the big league level. Get ahead in the count.
1-2. And strike three, third straight strikeout.
You'll get guys to chase pitches out of the strike zone if you work ahead. America strikes out.
America's new sports network is the place to turn before every slam, every goal, every game with America's pregame on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Tune into America's pregame weekdays at 5 p.m. Central, only on Fox Sports 1. And to find Fox Sports 1 on your cable satellite provider, go to foxsports1.com.
You get strike one, you put the hitter on defense all of a sudden. Now, you know, you get ahead, even like Hughes did to Davis right there. He swung at a breaking ball out of the strike zone. He becomes more of a defensive type of hitter, just trying to make contact. Fall behind, that hitter says, okay, he's going to come in with a pitch. I'm going to like it. I'm going to hit it hard.
First ground ball out, 2 down. That'll bring up Torrey Hunter. Hunter just hit a little humpback liner into right center field with 1 out in the first. And then Cabrera followed with his double off the glove of Fuld. And I'm not the official score. I have no desire to be one, but I don't think the Tigers send Hunter if Fuld makes a good throw to the cutoff man. So in my book, both runs should be unearned, but that's for somebody else to decide. Martinez would have hit the fly ball, and run might have been earned anyway. Another one to short right. Fuld with the catch. Back-to-back 1-2-3 innings for Phil Hughes. Between the Minnesota Wild and the Colorado Avalanche in their best-of-7 first-round playoff series tied at 2 apiece. Coverage starting at 7:30 with a special 1-hour edition of Wild Live. So a doubleheader here on Fox Sports North, a tripleheader for Dick Bramer. Got the ball game today, the Chicago concert tonight, then watching the end of the Wild game.
Go Wild! That'll be a fun game to watch.
Go Chicago!
Blackhawks are still in it.
No, I don't mean that. Aaron Hicks will lead off the third. Twins trying to cover up an early 2-0 deficit. Inside, 2-0. Hicks hoping to crawl out of the 100s in terms of a batting average. Everything started out so good for Hicks. He had a pair of 2-hit games in the first 2 games of the year and hasn't had a 2-hit game since. Out in front, 2-1. And that's what you need if you want your batting average to improve. some multi-hit games will get that taken care of in short order.
Yeah, they don't expect him to do what he did in Tampa, the 3-run home run. And Hicks is important to get on, steal some bases.
Not mentioning Hicks by name, but I asked Ron Gardenhire this morning, I said, if you had another leadoff hitter, where would you hit Brian Dozier, who's leading the team in home runs and standing next to the manager right as we speak? And he said probably third. If you had a leadoff hitter who, had an on-base percentage of around 400, and then you hit Mauer second, who has an on-base percentage of around 400, popped up behind third. Stellanos, and it's Romine, the shortstop, for the catch, one away. He said he'd probably bat Brian Dozier, his big home run hitter, third in the lineup. Today's Coors Light Banquet Timeless Moment. 1 year ago today, Anibal Sanchez struck out 17 Atlanta Braves in a 10-0 rout over the Braves, breaking Mickey Lolich's Detroit franchise record of 16 strikeouts. Remember when we were in Atlanta last year, the Braves obviously very good, but even good teams can strike out a lot. The Braves did a lot of that last year. Here's Eduardo Escobar. 1-0. Strike.
And Sanchez has been a strikeout pitcher over his career, averaging about 8 strikeouts per 9 innings. Just over 3 walks per 9 innings.
Foul, 1-2.
Sanchez last year pitched a 1-hitter against the Twins, one of his 4 1-hitters. Beat the Twins back in May in Detroit.
And he strikes out Escobar. Second strikeout of the ball game for Sanchez. That'll bring up the first strikeout victim, Brian Dozier.
While changing speeds, took something off right. That was a good fastball down. Escobar swinging through it.
And strike one at the belt. Bunted in the air, and that will trickle foul. Backspin on it, and once it hit the turf, it had just enough backspin to roll it foul.
Dozier with 2 outs here, trying to get on for Mauer. It hits the grass, but then you're right, all that backspin. Oh, Sanchez, Castellanos watching it.
See the backspin off the point of contact. That Phantom Cam makes watching baseball so much more enjoyable. This one shot down into the right field corner. Hunter chasing it. A foul ball. So Dozier misses a bunt single down the third base line and now misses a double down the first base line. Twins still looking for their first hit. Two strikes. Off the plate, 1-2. Dozier with the 7 home runs. We told you about all the solo home runs. 14 of the 19 for the team have been hit with the bases empty. It's down the line, and that one's not going to slice, but it's still about 3 feet foul, and it cost Dozier his bat. So you can understand the manager's logic. If you had a couple of guys with an on-base percentage of 400, you hit Dozier third, those home runs more often than not would be hit with guys on base.
Well, 3 of the 7 home runs led off a ball game too, and then the other one led off an inning late in the ball game. So, but you know what? I think you have to look at the 8-9 hitter in the lineup.
Twins have hit 19 home runs. They've allowed 19 home runs, which isn't bad given the fact that they gave up the first 5 home runs hit. 1-2 to Dozier. Not 2-2. The 19 home runs the Twins have hit have scored 26 runs. The 19 home runs that the opponents have hit have scored 34 runs. Sanchez hesitating and looking into the dugout. I think it was Brad Ausmus who was about ready to come out of the dugout and ask him how he was. See if something is developing here with Sanchez. 3-2.
Well, again, he had some shoulder issues in spring training, and Sanchez kind of taking a little walk.
And the catcher's going to come out and ask him before the manager and trainer come out. Well, there's something wrong with Sanchez. He stood on the mound and looked into the dugout as almost imploring someone to come out and check on him, and gave it one pitch. They seem to be looking down at his hand. I wonder whether he's got a blister. Kevin Rand, the gentleman in the sunglasses there.
See Cabrera kind of moving his shoulder around.
Brad Ausmus talking with Jeff Jones, and I think they're going to eventually take Sanchez out of the game here. Or are they?
Yeah, they're looking at something on his hand. Maybe he cracked a nail.
And he's got to come out of the ball game.
Maybe a blister that just formed.
And so we'll have a pitching change. Sanchez had a nearly perfect first trip through the batting order, but now he has to leave. Sweet Spot all season long at Target Field. The Sweet Spot is a unique set of benefits and experiences exclusive to Twins season ticket holders. Join the season ticket family and find out more about Sweet Spot benefits. Call 833-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com. There's a season ticket plan that fits every fan. Just called up today with Miller being sent out by the Tigers. Jose Ortega, and he will have as much time as he needs to warm up because of the physical situation, whatever the reason was for Sanchez to come out of the ballgame.
Yeah, those are his numbers from last year for Ortega in his third season with the Tigers, up and down. Sanchez threw that 2-2 pitch to Dozier down and away, and that's kind of, he must have popped something, maybe a blister on a finger or cracked a nail. We'll wait for the report if we can get one.
And Ortega again will have as much time as he needs to get loose, and that might take a while. He just was called up. It's a cool afternoon. He had no warm-up time in the bullpen. No reason for him to warm up out there when he's going to be in the game anyway. And Dozier, in the middle of his at-bat, will be facing a different pitcher. And now for you to tweet a photo using #NorthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in a broadcast brought to you by AT&T. The Tigers called up Ortega, optioned Miller, who pitched last night. Justin Miller sent back to Toledo. And also, Brad Austin was pointing out that with the Tiger off days, Drew Smiley also would be available to the Tigers pitching out of the bullpen. And Ron Gardenhire saying as we move forward here today, if the need arises, Mike Pelfrey also would be available to pitch out of the pen for the Twins. Both teams a little short-handed. And now it's 3-2 to Dozier.
Scouting report on Ortega. Good fastball, slider, and a changeup from Venezuela. Signed by the Tigers in 2006.
And that walk gets charged to Ortega, right?
Yes.
3-2.
Yes. And it is Sanchez's responsibility.
I beg your pardon. Gets Bauer to the plate, presenting the tying run. Bauer had a long at bat, ended up hitting a fly ball to left.
So basically, Ortega could let Dozier score, and that would be Sanchez's run. So let's do it.
That wouldn't be a thing to do to a teammate, but we'll see if the Twins can take advantage of the pitching change and the ensuing walk. Dozier threat to steal, but he holds on the first pitch, strike one. Twins want to run the bases aggressively, and it's a little tougher to do it when you're down a couple runs. But this might be a situation, even with one strike, where the Twins would be interested in sending Dozier to second. 6 steals and 6 tries. And a throw over.
Yeah, last year in June, Sanchez left the game early. Had some shoulder stiffness.
Dozier takes off. Tigers pitch out, and Dozier still is in safely. 7 for 7.
Got a good jump right there. Holiday stepping out. The pitch was outer half of the plate. Not a bad throw, but look at Dozier's jump. Romine having to play the one hop.
Now Brad Ausmus is going to come out and have a discussion with Brian Honora. And Honora's going straight to
they want
the
to
replay headsets. So this will be the Tigers' challenge.
Take another look. Dozier diving in head first. Does he get his hand on the bag before the tag is applied?
I think the tag applied right about to, well, right there. But where's his hand? Not on the bag yet.
Not on the bag yet.
This might be overturned. Fielding the hop and immediate contact with Dozier's fingertips a few inches away from the bag. And they're showing it here on the video board. So I don't think the fans will be too irate. if this is overturned, because they can see the high resolution video on the board that it appeared that the tag was applied by Romine before Dozier got to the base. But again, there has to be clear and convincing.
I think that one angle that we had that kind of showed that Dozier's fingers quite weren't on the bag yet. Yeah, this one here. Right there.
Right in the ribs. The tag.
Yep.
They're calling him out.
Yep.
So forget the 7-for-7 business. The Tigers pitched out. Holliday's throw good enough and quick enough to throw him out at second. That ends an interesting bottom of the third. Interesting at bat for Brian Dozier. Started his at bat with one pitcher on the mound, finished it with another pitcher on the mound, had a stolen base, and then had it taken away.
Well, you know what? The right call was made, and it was done very quickly, too. Only 1 minute and 28 seconds it took the umpires to review it and to make the correct call. And that's why they put the replay in there, to get it right. They got it right.
It's the first time a challenge has been successful against the Twins. Cabrera lifts a very high foul pop back into the seats. I know it's been under scrutiny and some people have been critical of the system, and I have absolutely no problem with what we just saw. If Bauer follows with a base hit and the Twins get a run they shouldn't have had, well, then that's, you know, doesn't make any difference who benefits or not from the replay. The justice prevailed. And if it took a minute and a half out of my life, I don't mind that at all.
Well, I think the umpires themselves, they wanted, you know, I mean, right there you see Brian O'Nora, who's a crew chief. He's the one that said he was safe, but he also wants it called right.
Right. 1-2 to Cabrera. He'll be followed by Martinez and Jackson. A rare pitch out of the strike zone for Phil Hughes, who so far has been just what the doctor ordered. Cabrera hit a drive to the wall in right center that hit Folds' glove and bounced out for a double. This one pushed down the right field line, and it'll sail foul.
Yeah, Sanchez reported a right finger blister, so he did have a blister and maybe opened up, and that's the reason he came out of the ball game.
Limiting into your pitching hand. Did you have a blister problems?
Oh, I had all kind of blister problems, but you know, between starts, I would really work on it to try to file it down where it needed to be done.
Cabrera is retired, and Victor Martinez is lucky he's alive. The barrel of Cabrera's bat sailed right past Martinez. All that Cabrera took with him up the baseline is about 1 ounce of his bat. The rest of it nearly clobbered Martinez.
It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Well, if you're in the on-deck circle and you had this jagged piece of wood helicoptering toward you.
That's not a beautiful thing.
No.
But the broken bat is.
One down, and Martinez will hit. Sacrifice fly for the second run for the Tigers. 1 strike. Up towards Dozier. Started in the outfield grass, almost in the skin of the infield, out number 2.
10 of 13 batters first pitch strikes for Phil Hughes. Outstanding. 39 out of 47 strikes.
And now Austin Jackson. 2 hits allowed. They came in succession. There was an error mixed in. The extra base hit was nearly caught by the right fielder. Other than that, Hughes has been perfect here today. And as we said, just what the doctor ordered, given the overworked bullpen. Inside, and now it's 1-1.
Hughes has retired 10 straight Tigers.
2-1. To center, where Hicks waits. Another 1-2-3 inning for Phil Hughes. Twins trail 2-0. .42-mile paved Root River State Bike Trail. The southeastern Minnesota trail winds along 300-foot towering limestone bluffs, dense hardwood forests, and quaint small towns. For more unique travel ideas, visit exploreminnesota.com. Post your experiences to #OnlyInMN. Joe Mauer will lead off with a fresh count here in the 4th inning. Outside, ball 1. Pitch tracks brought to you by Jeep. Mauer, Plouffe, and Colabello trying to get their first base hit of the afternoon against the second Tiger pitcher. 2-0. Ortega, a relief pitcher. So at some point, the Tigers are going to have to send somebody out there, and it would probably be, I guess, Drew Smiley, a starter who's been put in the bullpen for today's game, to eat up some innings. But getting a starter warmed up to come into a game like this is a bit unfair to the starter. So they've asked a reliever to finish up the third inning and pitch maybe the fourth. But then I would suspect someone, probably Smiley, would be warming up to enter the game in the middle innings. 3-0. Tigers have 2 off days next week in the middle of their road trip that starts here in Minnesota. That's why Smiley will be skipped and instead serve out of the bullpen. 3-0. Twins have taken a couple of walks. And now a strike.
That's one thing that Brad Ausmus does. He knows that, he's got to get Verlander out there every 5th day. Also Max Scherzer, and they're hoping Sanchez, but hopefully that blister will heal quickly. Those are the 3 guys that they expect to be out there every 5th day. And then Porcello and Smiley, kind of, they'll stay in a rotation if they play 5 straight games.
And Ortega just summoned after the game last night. So now he walks Mauer to start the 4th inning, and Plouffe will come to the plate. Plouffe with a fly ball to right his first time up. While the Tigers are opening up a 3-city road trip, the Twins are opening up a 3-team homestand. After tomorrow's game, the Dodgers open up a series here Tuesday, and then the Orioles will come to town next weekend without Chris Davis, perhaps. Davis, in swinging the bat yesterday, pulled his oblique, had to be taken from the game. In the dirt, nice block by Holiday, ball 1.
Well, slider by Ortega right in front of home plate. Holiday does a good job of knocking it down. Keeping Mauer at first.
High and tight. And the strike zone jumping around on Sanchez, and now Jeff Jones is going to come to the mound. Twins have 3 2-run home runs and 2 3-run home runs. Plouffe can touch one off here. We'd have a tie game. Here's the upcoming schedule for the Twins. All the home games coming up on Twins television on Fox Sports North.
It'll be fun to have the Dodgers here for a 3-game series, and then the Orioles. Before you guys head to Cleveland and Detroit.
You're not on the next road trip?
No.
It's our second trip to Cleveland already, and you were on the first one. Why wouldn't you be on the second one?
Just so happened to work that way. Doing 100 of the 150 games we televise.
I'm in for every last one of them.
Yes, you are.
2-0 to Plouffe. Plouffe sent by a pitch.
That was not a very good visit by the pitching coach.
Plouffe will go to first. Mauer to second. Nobody out now for Colabello.
Ortega got his feet wet at the major league level in 2012. Only 2 relief appearances. We showed you the numbers last year. 11 games. That fastball just running in on Plouffe. Getting the left elbow arm, the area of Plouffe.
And another RBI chance for Colabello. He's driven in 27, but one thing that this lineup has done is it's provided plenty of RBI opportunities for their cleanup hitter. Setting a club record for runs batted in April last night with his 27, breaking the record he shared with Kirby Puckett. Breaking ball down and away, ball 1. I believe the Tigers are going to wait too long here to warm somebody up in the bullpen. Ortega was lucky to get the call reversed for the final out of the third inning on the Dozier stolen base attempt. Walked Mauer on 5, hit Plouffe with a pitch, and now 1-0 to Colabello. Popped straight up in the air, and the infield fly rule should be called. And Cabrera with the catch. Second base umpire Brian Onora called the infield fly rule. 1 down, and that'll bring up Kubel. Kubel with a fly to left his first time up. Twins need get something done here in this 4th inning. Phil Hughes is pitching very well, attacking the strike zone, and Twins would like to cover up the early 2-0 deficit. Away, ball 1. Big swing and a miss. We'll went after that fastball, hoping to put the Twins in front.
Yeah, sometimes we can only look at minor league numbers when a guy like Ortega comes up, but in the minor leagues coming into this year, 183 walks in 320 innings pitched in the minor leagues. So control issues have been a problem for Ortega.
Down and away. 2-1. Fastball at 94, and Kubel cuts through it.
That's the one you kind of want to lay off of, that high fastball. Good fastball up in the zone. Kubel swinging through it.
Three fastballs. Kubel's retired. Out number 2.
Ortega picks up his first strikeout.
Another one upstairs out of the strike zone. Minnesota sports fans, make sure you stay up to date with all the latest events around the area. From your favorite hometown teams to the Fox Sports North girls, we've got you covered. Log on to foxsportsnorth.com. Click on the More tab for more info. Suddenly a big at bat here for Josmil Pinto. Twins had a couple of runners aboard. They still don't have a hit. Tying run at first, 2 away. Swings through a breaking ball. 1 strike. I'm not sure how many strikes the young man has actually thrown. He's gotten some swings and misses, but not sure any of the fastballs that Jason swung at were actual strikes.
Ortega, very good arm. You can see the life in that arm. A good hard slider. Ortega just 25 years old.
Roller to short. And Romine with a high throw, and Pinto's tagged out. Nice play by Cabrera. Pinto tagged, and the inning ends as the threat slips through their fingers. Phil Hughes has pitched well. He gave up back-to-back hits and eventually a couple of runs in the first inning. One earned, one unearned. He's retired every other batter.
Yeah, 11 straight for Phil Hughes. A couple ground ball outs, 7 fly ball outs to go along with his 3 strikeouts.
Castellanos, Romine, and Holiday to face Hughes here in the 5th, starting the 5th inning with 51 pitches thrown on a day when the Twins were frankly tapped out. They were left with no other options but to take a starter, Mike Pelfrey, and include him in the bullpen core today because of what has happened. One quality start in the last week and a half for the Twins. It was Hughes who gave it to them, and that was barely a quality start because he sailed through 6 innings, ran into some trouble in the 7th, and ended up with 3 earned runs allowed.
Well, a different story here today. He is attacking the strike zone. 53 pitches, 43 for strikes.
Twins started the season with some poor starts, and it was the younger starter, Kyle Gibson, who kind of got the rotation righted for a while. And maybe the hope is that this start will be the sign of better things to come for the whole rotation.
Yeah, Gibson starting tomorrow against Justin Verlander.
There's Gibson on the left, and on the right, Kevin Correa, who admitted he just had terrible command last night. Pretty much the same thing Ricky Nolasco dealt with the game before. 2 strikes to Castellanos. Hit a fly ball to right his first time. A check swing. 1-2. About 5 feet in front of the plate.
Hughes making his 137th major league start. He has 2 complete games, one against the Tigers a couple of years ago in Detroit. This is a breaking ball right here. See the rotation coming out.
And now I believe the first 3-ball count for Hughes. It was 0-2, now it's 3-2. All back. Castellanos, Romine, and Holiday. Castellanos fell in love with this ballpark at first sight. First pitch he saw here, he hammered over the fence and right for a home run last night. Another foul. Another 3-2 and another foul ball.
Castellanos just 22 years old, 4 seasons in the minors, over 300 average. September call up last year, now the everyday third baseman for Brad Ausmus.
Hughes will try it again. Finally, a strikeout. 12 straight retired by Phil Hughes.
And Hughes picks up his 4th strikeout. A good fastball. Strikeout number 4.
1 down, and now Romine was called out on strikes his first time up. Foul. Tigers, as they've become competitive over the years, have always addressed perceived weaknesses. And as much lip service as they want to pay Romine, he's our guy and all that, if he doesn't perform at a level they're happy with, it's a very proactive front office. Dave Dombrowski, if he feels he needs something at whatever cost, he's going to go get it. This is a team that has been very aggressive in terms of payroll, player acquisition. Their goal isn't to win the division. Their goal is to win the World Series. 1-2. It's chipped behind third, but foul. I guess the concern would be not just short, but you have the 22-year-old third baseman playing alongside him. There's not a whole lot of known quantity in the left side of the infield right now. Check swing and a 2-2 count.
He was making sure what the count is.
Whatever for. What could be the problem with the count, do you suppose?
Wanted to make sure.
Yeah, but that never gets mixed up, does it? Escobar. No, it was who was it for the Rays? Had it?
Escobar.
It was Escobar. 2-2. Ended up striking out on a 4-2 pitch, which was reviewed. That's the odd part. They made a mistake and then looked at it, made a worse mistake.
Umpires have that California math going too.
2-2. Slow breaking ball and a weak number up the line. Foul. And now another full count. No 3-ball counts before this inning, and now back-to-back 3-ball counts. 70 pitches now for Hughes, the catcher on deck. And Hughes strikes out Romine.
Strikeout number 5.
13 in a row set down. See fans of the game bundled up a little bit. The Twins can get back above the 500 mark. Here's Holiday. Pops straight up in the air. Colabello near the mound makes the catch, and another 1-2-3 inning for Phil Hughes, his finest outing as a Twin so far.
Inner's Circle. Jason is here. He brought along Parker and Riley. They are North Dakota fans, but to be more specific, made the trip from Grand Forks. You said last night, too, Jason, you were up a little bit higher. Now you are 1, 2, 3 rows up from the Twins dugout. What's this experience like for you?
Life is great. Go Twins.
What are you seeing from this angle that you haven't seen before at a game?
It's just a great vantage point, being able to see the pitcher-catcher action, Twins players in the warm-up circle. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, Jason, we are giving you today $100 worth of scratch-off tickets, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery. Congratulations, you're our winners today.
Thank you very much.
Dick and Bert making the drive from Grand Forks.
All right, very nice.
Yeah, great seats. You are both all here by circle.
Sam Fuld will lead things off. Castellanos in on the grass at third base. Ortega out there to start another inning of work. And outside. Just looking back to the fourth inning, the inning started with a walk and then a hit batter. And this may be one of the few times this year some Twins hitters were a little over-eager at the plate. Ortega looked like he was ready to spin himself into a real mess. Colabello kind of got fooled on a pitch, popped it straight up, and then Kubel might have swung at 3 fastballs out of the strike zone.
Not being a very good hitter myself, but you know, you talk to hitters, and that fastball that's about letter high, that is sometimes hard to lay off because you see the whole ball. And Ortega, pretty good fastball, just kind of threw it past Kubel. He is fighting his control.
23 pitches and just 8 strikes, and of the 8 strikes, I'm not sure many, if any, were destined for the strike zone had they not been swung on or put in play. 3-0 to Fuld. And that's why I was a little surprised that the Tigers sent Ortega out there for another inning, and I don't think he was particularly effective in the fourth inning. Target Field is the place to spend time with the people most important to you. Groups of 25 or more are eligible for discounts on tickets and don't have to pay handling fees. Organize your group today. Check out twinsbaseball.com/groups or call 800-33-TWINS and ask about a Twins Target Field group outing.
Even though he struggled, you know, right there last inning, but the lower part of the lineup coming up, and maybe they were hoping to get one more inning out of Ortega.
See what Hicks can get done here. If he gets something good to hit it all. And there goes Fuld. Holiday's throw won't be reviewed this time. Fuld on the first pitch.
Well, what Fuld brings with him is outstanding speed. His hustle. Got a great jump right here. The throw up to Romine, the shortstop. But Fuld ends up stealing his second base of the year, his first as a Twin.
1-0 to Hicks. Another scoring opportunity for the Twins. They got a runner at second, nobody out last inning, and didn't budge him. Drew Smiley, I assume it's Smiley out in the bullpen. The left-hander, I suppose it could be Phil Koch, but he's just starting to get loose. And it is the veteran Phil Koch. Two-0 to Hicks.
Hicks's job is get Fuld over to third if he can.
And make sure he swings at a strike. 3-0. Escobar on deck.
Hicks should be taking a pitch right here. Make Ortega throw a strike.
The outside corner, 3-1. Hicks has one of the team's 2 3-run home runs that came in St. Petersburg and came from the left side of the plate. Ortega finds himself in the same pickle he was in the 4th inning. His control has put 2 runners on with nobody out.
A third walk in relief of Sanchez.
In the ball game, the Twins have taken 5 walks already and had a batter hit. The one thing they haven't done is get a base hit.
Yeah, Jeff Jones coming out for the 2nd time.
First time this inning. Number 9 batter Escobar is up. 5th inning, Twins down a couple runs. Not inconceivable, I guess, that Escobar might be asked to bunt to get both runners into scoring position. But the first thing Escobar needs to do is make sure Ortega throws it over the plate, whether he's swinging away or bunting. Escobar struck out against Sanchez. Escobar was the last full at bat that Sanchez completed before leaving in the middle of the Dozier at bat. Castellanos in on the grass at 3rd. Cabrera playing in front of the runner at 1st. Pulled the bat back and took ball 1. A lot of things in play here for the Twins in their favor. A lot of speed. Maybe the most speed they have on the field on their roster is on the base right now. On the bases right now. Hicks and Fold.
Escobar, if he's going to bunt, has not had a sacrifice put down yet this year.
Third baseman Castellano almost with his back to his dugout, squared, looking at the runner at 2nd, Sam Fold. See if Fold were to take off from 2nd, he's got to be aware of that and retreat to the 3rd base bag.
As a pitcher, you have to throw a strike here. Going to give you an out.
And throw it into left field. Fold comes up. He's going to try to score, and the Twins get a run on a bunt and a poor throw by the catcher.
Holiday had a shot to get the force out at 3rd base, but overthrew Castellanos at 3rd base. With a bunt right in front of home plate, Holiday picks it up and then airmails it into left field. We saw this from Pinto in Kansas City. And Foles scores the first run for the Twins.
Twins still looking for their first hit, but now they've got their first run, the tying run at 2nd. Nobody out. Dozier at the plate. And the Tigers are anticipating a possible bunt from Dozier, who's among the league leaders in home runs. Dozier walked. That walk charged to Sanchez, who left the game with a blister.
Yeah, Escobar should get a sacrifice bunt, then the fielder's choice in the air on the catcher.
High and tight, 2-0. Dozier tried to, or nearly bunted for a hit in the 3rd inning. But the Tigers are anticipating a possible sacrifice bunt here. That means there's more room for Dozier to pick up a base hit through the infield. And he takes a strike on the outside corner, 2-1.
How about a 3-run home run for Dozier? A couple men on.
Abreu and Pujols leading the league in home runs. Donaldson and Dozier next on the chart. 2-1 to Brian Dozier.
I like charts.
Inside, 3-1. Bauer on deck. You saw it last night if you were watching, and it's been a case for the Tigers all year long. They have bullpen issues, and in today's game, they've had to turn to the bullpen in the third inning.
Yeah, with Coke warming up, this might be the last batter that Ortega faces.
3-1 to Dozier. And they're loaded up. And Ortega, with Bauer coming to the plate, is going to be taken out by Brad Ausmus. And Ortega just called up overnight. And tough spot to put him in with Sanchez abruptly leaving the ball game because of the blister in the third inning.
Well, he just couldn't get the ball over the plate.
3 walks this inning. Completed the walk in the third, a real mess, but the Twins are still down by a run. Will face Joe Mauer with the Tigers in front 2-1.
And it's been a struggle for Phil Coke out of that bullpen so far, making his 7th relief appearance. He's worked a total of 4 innings, giving up 6 runs. 1 home run, 1 walk, couple strikeouts. Coke in his 5th season with the Yankees, with the Tigers, came up with the Yankees in 2008.
2 walks were charged to the starter Sanchez before he left because of the blister. 4 walks and a hit batter charged to Ortega. And Bauer at the plate with the bases full. Fuld has already scored. The tying run is Hicks at third. The home runs came early in the first series. The Twins faced Coke when he was still a New York Yankee. Bauer and Morneau feasted on Phil Coke in that series at Yankee Stadium. Twins do not have a grand slam this year. Bauer does have a 3-run home run. And the other 3-run homer we mentioned was from Hicks. 1-0. Playing back, they'll concede the tying run if they get a ground ball. 2-0. Thought he had a strike on that pitch. A couple of years ago when the Tigers got to the World Series, they lost to the Giants, but through the playoffs with Jose Valverde really struggling at the end, Coke became the Tigers closer. Did really well in the ALCS and actually did okay in the World Series too, but the Tigers didn't fare too well. Lauer will take a pitch here on 3-0. My goodness. 4 walks in the inning, and the Twins have tied it without a hit. Two apiece. Bases still loaded, still nobody out, and Plouffe at the plate.
This is shades of that game against the Blue Jays here. Remember in the 8th inning when there were, what, 6 walks? The Twins scored 6 runs?
6 runs on 1 hit in that inning. Plouffe hit by a pitch his last time up. Ortega drilled him in the back of the left arm. Ball 1. Koch hasn't thrown a strike yet.
Ortega had a tough time doing that too.
You can't even swing it at this point, can you?
No,
Unless he throws a strike.
You have to take a pitch.
And there's a strike, and now the at-bat will begin for Plouffe. 1-1.
Threw the changeup over. Koch has a good changeup along with a fastball in the low 90s. Also a slider, big slider.
Well, he's got his grandpa here. Marnie interviewed the grandpa, so I'm going to make a call here. We're going to get our first grand slam of the year in this at-bat. 2-1. Here comes Brad Ausmus to talk to Koch. Something, when Plouffe checked his swing, there's something wrong with Trevor too. He got drilled in the back of the left arm, and it seemed like in checking his swing, he winced in pain.
Kind of walked away. I don't know, maybe an ankle or something. Taking a deep breath.
Might be the elbow.
Take a look at the check swing.
I'm guessing
wince a little bit.
Guessing it's the elbow, but 2-1. Missing low. Trevor is really in pain, flexing the left arm. And if you're Koch, you're going, well, all I have to do is throw it over. This guy doesn't even look like he can swing. Maybe it's a decoy.
That's what I was thinking. He's deking it.
Up the middle, a base hit.
He was deking him.
Escobar scores. Dozier right behind him, and Dozier puts the Twins up 4-2. Plouffe's 2-run single, the first hit for the Twins this afternoon.
There you go, Grandpa. Well, they got a 3-1 fastball, lined it right back up the middle. Plouffe picking up the 16th and 17th RBI as of the year. And the Twins take a 4-2 lead.
Still nobody out. Colabello at the plate. Ball 1. There's no activity in the Tiger bullpen. That's how desperate Brad Ausmus and his Tigers bullpen is. Making one roster move because of a depleted bullpen and then having to dip into the bullpen in the 3rd inning. 1-0. Colabello. honestly thought, based on Brad Ausmus's quotes, that Drew Smyly, who's probably not going to start for at least a week with him being moved to the bullpen, that it would be Smyly who would be warming up through the 3rd inning, ready to take over in the 4th, or for the 4th inning rather, into the 5th. 2-0 to Colabello. There's a strike on the outside corner. Good pitch to take, though. It was in a pretty good spot down and away. Four runs on the board so far, just 1 hit. A wild pitch, sending both runners now into scoring position. The way things are going, he's likely going to end up walking Colabello anyway.
That ball skipping past Holiday.
Been an awful inning for a couple of Detroit relief pitchers. Infield back. Cabrera even with the bag at first. 3-1 to Colabello. And there's the almost predictable walk. Nobody out. 7 men have reached. And other than the bunt, which only traveled about 20 feet, 1 ball has been put in play. That's Plouffe's single.
8 walks allowed so far by the Tigers.
Kubel came up, struck out with runners at first and second, and 1 out in the 4th, and he'll get another opportunity here against Phil Koch. Koch showed you the numbers, just 1 walk in 4 innings, but a lot of hits allowed. Breaking ball over, strike 1.
Kubel 3 hits in 13 at bats against Phil Koch.
Kubel has produced with hits in this situation. 8 times he's hit a home run in his career. Breaking ball, that one missing, and it's 1-1. At this point, Koch has to throw what he feels he can throw over the plate, and it's not his fastball. It's a couple of breaking pitches to Kubel. Foul, 1-2. On the fastball.
Koch has thrown 17 pitches, only 5 strikes.
Ball up and in, 2-2. I think that Fultz started this inning with a walk. Everything that's happened, including a pitching change, there's still nobody out. Kubel, the 8th man to come to the plate this inning. Chopped, foul.
Ortega came in. He threw a total of 36 pitches, only 11 strikes. Koch 18. 19 now pitches, 6 strikes. It's 55 pitches, only 17 strikes.
You did that all yourself, didn't you?
I needed help. Thank you, Mike.
Inside, 3-2. Koch almost begging for a strike now. Pinto on deck.
Tigers have been out on that defense a long time.
Kubel strikes out. First down of the inning. That'll bring up Pinto.
Cook challenged him with a fastball, and Jason striking out for the second straight time.
Pinto, ninth man to bat here in the fifth.
Fastball down in the zone.
Two-seam fastball. A fan of the can. See the fingertips coming across. Two seams. Strike on the outside corner. Just need to get more out of this. They've been pretty much given 4 runs, but let a scoring opportunity slip through their grasp in the 4th inning, and now bases loaded, nobody out. Now 1 out. Double play grounder. 4-6-3. Pope ends up giving up just 4 runs in the inning. Twins and Tigers on Fox Sports North, brought to you by Subway. Dick Bramer, Bert Blyleven, Barney Gellner bringing you game 2 of this series. Phil Hughes finally was given some run support in the bottom of the 5th inning. And he has retired 14 men in a row.
Yeah, credit Phil Hughes. You keep your club in the game. Yeah, they scored an unearned run in the 1st inning of the 2 that were allowed. But all in all, an outstanding performance so far by Hughes. 5 strikeouts, no walks. Thrown 72 pitches, 56 for strikes.
Polk was on the mound when most of the damage was done, but all the runs were charged to Ortega. And first pitch strike to Rajai Davis. Struck out his first time up.
15 of 18 first pitch strikes for Phil Hughes.
And Colabello with the grab, touching the bag. 1 quick out here in the 6th. A few photos from this weekend series against the Tigers now on FoxSportsNorth.com, and later read reaction from the locker room, plus analysis from Tyler Mason. 1 down in the 6th. Ian Kinsler will bat. Kinsler 0 for 2, a fly ball to right and a ground ball to short. Everybody else in the division playing outside the division. Kansas City's in Baltimore tonight. White Sox are hosting the Rays tonight. And the Indians are underway this afternoon in San Francisco. Inside 2-0. Hughes' control or his strike throwing very good through 4 innings. Had some full counts in the 5th, but he ended up striking out both Castellanos and Roma. And now it's 3-0 to Kinsler.
Yeah, get rid of that ball. Torrey Hunter on deck.
Down the middle of strike.
See, that's a better ball. That's a strike ball. Threw away the ball. This is a strike ball. See?
Apparently it's from a different box than we used in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, I had the home run ball a lot of times. I didn't like it.
3-2 to Kinsler. Popped up right field. Fuld running in with the wind pushing the ball in toward the infield. Out number 2. Nice job by Hughes coming back from 3-0.
Yeah, he got a new ball and he threw the strike ball. 16 straight outs for Hughes.
2 down. And Torrey Hunter, because the Twins got 4 and no more in the bottom of the 5th. Important to keep the bases empty here, particularly in this inning, because you get a guy on base and one swing of the bat and the game could be tied. Hunter takes high, ball 1. Hunter with a single and a run scored. Didn't hit the ball well, just flopped it into right center field and then flew out to Fuld in the 3rd. Mentioned last night that in terms of his physique and his facial appearance, he looks almost identical to when he was a rookie, but he's so much more of a better hitter. I don't know that the Twins had a prospect that was more pole conscious than Torrey Hunter early in his career, and now we look where all his hits are going. It seems like 3 out of 4 of them are going to the opposite field. Now he grounds that one on an off-speed pitch right over the 3rd base bag. It'll be a 2-out double for Hunter.
And another multi-hit game for Torrey Hunter against his former organization. Torrey came in a .313 hitter against the Twins. Slow breaking ball, pulling it right down that 3rd baseline for Torrey, his 6th double of the year, and a 2nd hit.
And of course, who represents the tying run but 2-time MVP Miguel Cabrera. Cabrera drove one to the wall in right center field. Fuld had the ball bounce off the heel of his glove. It went for a double. There was an error involved, and by inning's end, the Tigers had a 2-0 lead. Burns the outside corner, a strike.
That's the first time Hughes has had to work out of this stretch since the 1st inning. Retired 16 straight.
One strike to Cabrera. One and one. Ball just foul. 1-2.
367 career home runs for Cabrera in his 12th season.
Strand out there. If Hughes can do that, he had to sit in the dugout a long time in the bottom of the 5th. Pitching with a lead for the first time. Would dearly love to put a 0 up in the top of the 6th. 2-2. Right field, high, fairly deep, full with the catch for the third out.
Presented by Toyota. Let's go places. To find your nearest Toyota dealer and check out our current offers, visit buyatoyota.com. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us.
Twins with a lead, 4-2. The only hit they've gotten, a two-run single by Trevor Plouffe. Plouffe, after the half inning, talking with Ron Gardenhire. And
kind of grabbing his glove and hat right there. So
speculation that it was the flare-up. Maybe as he's been out in the cool temperatures, things stiffening up on him a little bit after getting hit in the back of the left arm. At any rate, we'll give you a report when we can. Twins not so much batted around. They walked around in the fifth. Scored 4 runs, and Fold started the inning with a leadoff walk. He'll lead off the sixth against Phil Koch. Strike one. Bottom third of the lineup, Fold, Hicks, and Escobar. Swing and a miss, 2 strikes. With a foul out down the left field line in the second, then drew the walk, stole a base, went to third on an error. A little roller up the line. Good play by Phil Koch.
Yeah, very nice play by Koch. Almost a swinging bunt. That ball did stay fair. Koch went over, picked it up, spun at the same time, and then threw to the outfield side where Cabrera was waiting for the ball.
I saw home plate umpire Dan Bellino pointing toward fair territory after the play, as if to say if they had not gotten the out, if Fold had been hit in the back by the throw, that they may have called him out anyway for running on the grass. Here's Hicks hitting now as a right-handed batter. Walked and scored his last time up. Down and in, ball 1.
Aaron hitting 200 as a right-handed hitter.
a ball hit past Castellanos down the line. Hicks rounding first, digging for second. Davis's throw, not in time. Aaron Hicks with a double to left. Second Twins hit of the ball game.
Well, you saw a little bit of Hicks' speed right there. As soon as that ball was hit, he was motoring. Scotty Alter did not have to tell him to go to second base. Right down that third base line, Castellanos playing him off the line. Davis gets to this ball quickly, of course, with his speed, makes a good throw. Bare hands it, but Hicks just beat it out. Good head first slide for Hicks, his third double of the year. Twins get their second hit.
And now Escobar, who bunted, got credit for a sacrifice in his last plate appearance. Bunt wasn't a particularly good one, and Holiday looked like he had a shot at the force out at third base, but he threw wildly down the baseline. That helped open up the inning for the Twins, who scored 4 times. Swing and a miss and a pitch down in the dirt. Escobar started the game as a shortstop. We would anticipate that if in fact Plouffe comes out of the game, Escobar will slide over to third base and Florimon will enter as the shortstop. One strike to Escobar. Hit right at Castellanos. 2 down. And that will bring up Dozier. The Twins have scored 4 times. The Tigers helping them out immensely along the way. They had a chance to score on the 4th and didn't. Now a 1-out double. At some point, this team that's done pretty well hitting with men in scoring position needs to get some more hits, I would think.
Yeah, Dozier with the 7 home runs, only 9 runs batted in. He could have opportunity to pick up a run right here.
And Ron Gardenhire made that point this morning in discussing Dozier. He says he has come up with men in scoring position, but they do need the 8 and 9 spots in the batting order, with Dozier hitting leadoff to get on base more often. Well, now the number 8 hitters hit a double. We'll see if Dozier can provide a 2-out hit. Down and in, 1-1. Foul, 1-2. Any hit to the outfield should score. The speedy Hicks from second base. One and two. Hole viciously off the screen of the Tiger dugout.
Quick hands right there.
He showed those last night when he hit another home run. A pitch in off the plate. He had his hands in, put the barrel of the bat on the ball again.
Dozier last year led the club with home runs with 18. Drove in 66 runs.
Called third strike. Dozier knew it. Hope bent a breaking ball over the outside corner to the 7th. Twins up by 2. game with the Twins up by a pair.
Yeah, the Tigers took an early 2-0 lead. Miguel Cabrera, 2-run double in the first inning. Sacrifice fly by Martinez made it 2-0. Anibal Sanchez had to leave the ballgame in the third inning. Blister in that middle right finger. And then the fourth inning. A good inning for the Twins, not so good for the Tigers. A lot of walks in that ballgame, or excuse me, that inning, and highlighted by the 2-run single off the bat of Trevor Plouffe. And Phil Hughes, 1 point, retired 16 straight Tigers, starting his 7th inning. Second time in 2 starts Hughes has started the 7th inning.
Pedro Florimon is in at short, and moving over to third is Escobar.
Using 88 pitches, 66 strikes.
Missing the outside corner to Victor Martinez. Martinez 0 for 1 with a sacrifice fly. It'll be Martinez, Jackson, and Castellanos. Speed pitch tickles the outside corner. Nice pitch by Hughes.
You know, Hughes' last start against the Royals in Kansas City, he pitched 6 innings, only gave up 1 run the first 6 innings, and then went out for the 7th, gave up a base hit, then a 2-run home run, taken out of the ballgame, even though the Twins won 8-3.
High fly to right field. Fold back with room. There is some wind blowing in, pretty much directly in from the outfield. It may have helped keep Cabrera's ball in the ballpark in the 6th, and it surely knocked down Martinez's drive here in the 7th. 1 down. Fox Sports Supports is proud to collaborate with Stand Up to Cancer, a groundbreaking initiative created to accelerate innovative cancer research that gets new therapies to patients quickly in order to save lives now. For more information, visit foxsportsupports.com. 1 down. And now a strike to Jackson.
11 fly ball outs for Phil Hughes in this ball game. And you're right. The way that Fold went after that ball, and you could almost see that ball come back. Able to get the first out catch.
Cabrera's ball was hit more on the line, but right into the wind, and it ended up being caught right under the overhang to close out the 6th inning. Martinez with a big, tall fly ball. That might have been a lot more trouble with the wind not blowing in. 2 strikes and a foul back. So this is a pitcher's ballpark anyway, a fly ball pitcher's ballpark, and now you've got a pretty good breeze blowing in from the outfield. You'd love pitching out here, wouldn't you?
And this is one reason that the Twins looked at Phil Hughes, because he's a fly ball pitcher. You know, in New York, that's, you know,
20 rows back.
Yeah, really. And they just realized that Phil, over his career, is a fly ball pitcher, and this is a pitcher's ballpark if you allow fly balls. Again, 11 fly ball outs, only 3 ground ball outs to go with his 5 strikeouts.
Some activity in the Twins bullpen. They've gotten to the 7th inning with their starter. You can see Jared Burton and Brian Dunsing getting loose. See if Hughes can finish the 7th inning. Up high, and it's 1-2. It just works better, not just for the Twins, any team. If the starter can go 6 innings or 7 innings instead of a fraction of an inning, and whoever comes in can start his.
Sad to say, in today's game, if you can go 7 good innings, it's like a complete game.
It's into center and down for a hit, so the tying run will come to the plate. Jackson just poking one softly into center field.
Only the 4th hit for the Tigers.
Castellanos will bat. Castellanos with a fly to right and a strikeout.
Castellanos had that 10-pitch at bat against Phil Hughes to lead off the top of the 5th.
Ball getting pushed back into the seats. As well as Hughes has pitched, 19 outs. Only 2 of the outs have come on ground balls. See if he can double that total right here. Not the type of guy who will get a lot of ground ball double plays. 3 on the year so far. A strike. Hughes to Castellanos. And off the handle of the bat foul. We talked about it last night. The Tigers have been running more, but it's not like a team-wide change in philosophy. It's just they've got more speed in the lineup.
Yeah, they added Kinsler. They added Davis.
Jackson has seen his stolen base success rate diminish in recent years and down a couple of runs you wouldn't expect him to go. 2 strikes to Castellanos. Slow breaking ball missing. 1-2.
Oh, 100 pitches for Hughes.
3-1 strike to ball ratio.
It's a Minnesota man.
Minnesota high school man. One and 2. Struck him out. And that's out number 2. And we'll get Romine to the plate.
Yeah, looked like that cutter. Castellanos striking out for the 2nd time and the 6th strikeout for Phil Hughes.
Just a little side spin to get the ball to cut.
Report on Trevor Plouffe, left tricep contusion, and he is
terminal.
Day to day.
Day to day. Okay. One strike to Romine. Doinked foul. 2 strikes. Romine hasn't made contact today. Hauled out on strikes in the 2nd. Went down swinging in the 5th. Now, as you said, Hughes in his last start against the Royals started the 7th, ran into some immediate difficulty trying to show he's got a finishing kick here this afternoon. Jackson takes off. Pinto's throw nowhere as close to the bag. Jackson swipes second base and the count 1-2 to the batter.
Got a good jump right there off of Hughes. Pinto's throw was not close like you mentioned, but for Austin Jackson, his 2nd stolen base in 3 attempts. Does get into scoring position with 2 outs.
High fly center field. Hicks is out there.
Good job by Phil Hughes.
7 wonderful innings. Much needed innings from Phil Hughes here this afternoon. want this, and Phil Hughes did it.
Wow, you know, Anderson right there, Rick Anderson congratulating Phil Hughes. Outstanding performance, only 1 earned run allowed in 7 innings. Threw 105 pitches, 79 for strikes, no walks, 6 strikeouts for Hughes. It's like a complete game. It's awesome.
Back-to-back complete or quality starts now, and tomorrow our Century Link to what's next. Kyle Gibson won't be pitching to Justin Verlander, but he will be pitching against him.
And Verlander has been tough here at Target Field, 4-0 in 6 starts. So Kyle Gibson has to do exactly, hopefully, what Hughes did here this afternoon.
Joe Mauer will lead things off in the bottom of the 7th. Verlander. Mauer has walked a couple of times today. He'll be followed by Florimone, now hitting in what was Plouffe's spot. And then Chris Colabello. Phil Koch left out there to pitch through his difficulty in the 5th, and then had a much better 6th inning. Pitch Tracks brought to you by Carrier during the Mauer at bat. Down low, ball 1.
And with a short start of Sanchez, what you're asking, you know, Ortega just didn't come in and do his job. You're asking Phil Koch, who usually, you know, maybe pitches an inning here or there, is asked to go a little bit more.
Koch gave up a walk, single, and walk to the first 3 batters he faced. Just 1 hit since. And actually, the Tigers are still in this game. He did recover from a rough start and struck out Kubel and got a big double play ball off the bat of Pinto. 2-0 to Mauer.
Koch starting his 3rd inning of relief. Had 3 outs in the 5th, 3 outs in the 6th. Here he is for the 7th.
Fouled over the Tiger dugout, 2-1.
Remember that one year the Tigers tried to start Phil Koch, that back in 2011. Made 14 starts. That did not pan out real well. They put him back in the bullpen, pretty durable out there.
Up the middle, but the shift will take a hit away from Mauer. 1 down. Florimone will hit next. And now, as we promised you, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. You can tweet your photo to #NorthFanPhoto, and you might get shown on an upcoming broadcast brought to you by AT&T. Marked with some Twins gear, looks like.
Yeah, very nice. Peace.
I just saw something over here to my right that I'm going to have to get. It's a fleece blanket with the All-Star logo on it.
A lot of great items that have the All-Star logo.
Florimone jumps on the first pitch, fouls it to the screen.
Mother's Day is coming. Heidi might like a blanket.
You going to get her one?
I was thinking more of you. I already bought mine.
Oh, okay. All right. Down in the dirt, and it's 1-1.
But if you want me to, I will.
Finally, some activity in the Tigers' pen. Albuquerque. Let's have Jared Burton warming up. Looks like he's going to get the call for the 8th inning. Off the plate, 2-1. Florimone not accustomed to hitting in the middle of the lineup. And he's figuring, if I'm a 3rd place hitter, I better swing the bat like a 3rd place hitter. I got a 2-1 count. I'm going to grip it and rip it here. And fouled over the Twins dugout. 2-2. 2-2 to Florimo. Colabello on deck. 3-2. Twins have an off day on Monday, and whatever the issue is with Trevor Plouffe, we know he is day to day. Might very well be that he'll get the day off tomorrow, with everybody getting the day off on Monday. Plouffe's case, he's played every game. So has Mauer. Colabello and Dozier have been in every game. It's to right field. Hunter over a few steps. Out number 2. For Colabello comes to the plate. You can follow every Twins game with MLB.com @bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit twinsbaseball.com today. Brad Ausmus will get the ball from Phil Koch, who had a very wobbly start, but took the game deep into the 7th inning, and he'll give way to Al Albuquerque when we come back.
First 2 retired by Phil Koch. Now Al Albuquerque coming out of the bullpen. Albuquerque making his 12th relief appearance. He's worked 7 2/3 innings, given up 10 hits. A couple walks, 6 strikeouts. Hard-throwing right-hander in his 4th season with the Tigers.
And he'll face Colabello for 2 with a walk. Wicked slider, and he throws it over for a called first strike.
Albuquerque, 27 years old. I think he's had everything that a pitcher can have done. He had the Tommy John surgery in 2005, and his right shoulder operated on in 2008, and then the elbow surgery again in 2011. But not the Tommy John, just a repair of the elbow.
Okay. Two strikes quickly to Colabello. And a fastball off the plate.
Still throws that fastball in the mid-90s.
Colabello gets time. takes a breaking pitch off the plate. 2-2. Red Sox beat the Blue Jays 7-6. And Colabello can't lay off the next slider. He strikes out. The Twins go down 1-2-3 against two different pitchers in the second. Tom?
Yes, go Wild. Baby Wild fan.
And on this Saturday in the park, here's the lowdown. Twins are hoping that Phil Hughes' good start is the beginnings of a good turn through the rotation for the Twins. And if the Twins win today, it'll make me smile. That's all the Chicago references I can fit into one sentence.
Well, here's Jared Burton making his 9th relief appearance. He last worked in Tampa Bay. In that 9-7 win, Burton worked 1 inning, did give up a couple hits and a run with a couple walks. Burton's had some very good outings. He's had some not so good outings. And he needs a good outing here.
Tigers have a 4-man bench, and they're going to make a move here. Alex Avila, who did not start because he suffered a shin bruise trying to score a run sliding into Kurt Suzuki yesterday. He's going to hit. Avila hitting just .224 on the year and 22 strikeouts and 49 at bats. Burton will face Avila, Davis, and Kinsler.
Yeah, Avila 0 for 2 lifetime against Jared Burton.
Up and away, ball 1. Now Burton has said he feels much better now. He feels like he's broken out of an early season slump. He didn't feel his arm felt as good as it does now. He's had some disappointing outings, to be sure. He's had more control issues than we've ever seen in his 3 years with the Twins. One and one. You got Avila to swing over the top of that changeup. Missing the inside corner. 2-1. the plate. Now 3-1.
Another changeup missing. Put yourself in a fastball mode right here.
Three and one to the pinch hitter Avila. Wow.
And Burton, that's his 8th walk in 8 innings pitched.
And now Davis. Avila was taken out of the game last night because he couldn't run very well. That pitch just below the knees, according to Dan Bellino. Phil Hughes didn't walk anybody, and now Burton comes in and walks the first man. Davis with a strikeout and a ground ball. Fouled back. Brian Dunsing was warming up with Burton, but Dunsing has taken a seat. This will be Burton's inning. All these right-handed batters coming up here. We mentioned last night, Tigers very much imbalanced, very much a right-hand hitting ball club. And a base hit to center. Davis reaches across the plate and pokes a single, and the Tigers have a rally here. First and second, nobody out in the 8th.
Well, Burton's such an important part as a setup man to Glenn Perkins. It has not been an easy go. Davis just reaching out and hitting it softly into center field.
When you've got run producers at the top and middle of this Detroit lineup, you really need to get the 8 and 9 guys out. Escobar in on the grass at third. In the event Kinsler is asked to bunt. Wasn't asked to bunt too much in Texas.
Kinsler 1 for 4 lifetime against Burton.
Inside, ball 1. High fly left field. Kubel over, and he's going to give way to Hicks, and that's an out. Kubel letting Hicks take it. In the event there was a tag, Hicks would have been in a much better position to throw toward third base. One down. And that'll bring up Hunter. Dunsing has resumed warm-ups now in the Twins bullpen. Hunter had another good ball game, another good series against the Twins. 2 hits this afternoon. Foul back. Burton left one up, and Torrey tried to turn it around.
Yeah, Torrey 0 for 3 lifetime against Burton.
One strike. There's a bunt. Escobar runs right over the ball. He would have had a play. Hunter would have been out, but he ran right over the ball, and they're loaded up for Miguel Cabrera.
Smart baseball right there by Torrey Hunter. And a mistake by Escobar.
It was a hard bunt, and I think Escobar had a real good shot at throwing him out.
He did. Tried to hurry his throw, ran right by the ball.
Give him a base hit. So, the pressure we normally feel in the 9th inning, we're feeling in the 8th inning. Bases loaded. Miguel Cabrera at the plate, only 1 out. With Victor Martinez on deck. What they have said of Cabrera in April is that he's hit an awful lot of ground balls to short.
Need one right here.
But what we have seen here in this series, his ability to drive the ball, vintage Cabrera, to the opposite field. One strike.
Cabrera's hit into 4 double plays.
Grounder to third. Stepping on the bag. Double play.
Make it 5.
And now you don't have to face those guys in the ninth. Good plan by Jared Burton.
It's a windy afternoon here at Target Field. Coming up in our post-game show, Twins Live presented by CenturyLink, we'll look at a very good 7 innings for Phil Hughes this afternoon, something this Twins pitching staff desperately needed, and he delivered. Also, the way the Twins were able to take advantage of walks, in particular in the 5th inning when they walked 5 times and scored the 4 runs. We'll also hear from manager Ron Gardenhire. Dick and Bert, that's all coming up right after the game.
All right, thank you, Marnie. Jason Kubel will lead off the 8th against Al Albuquerque. And then it'll be Pinto and Fold. Insurance run would be nice. Glenn Perkins has already started to warm up down in the Twins bullpen. Vila going behind the plate to catch. Who's the guy, the reliever? I want to say Don Stanhouse. Earl Weaver said
could smoke a pack of cigarettes.
he caused him to smoke because he made him so nervous in the 7th and 8th innings.
Right.
Jared Burton may cause leadoff walks in a 2-run game, and then you get the bases loaded. Cabrera, and in the rear view mirror now, we understand it was all part of Burton's game plan to fill the bases
and let that man hit into a double play.
And then Glenn Perkins presumably won't have to face him in the 9th.
A guy that's knocked in 100 runs 10 straight years in a row. It was perfectly planned.
2-1 to Kubel.
So if we see Gardy take out one of his 1,000 cigars and start smoking it, thank you, Jared Burton.
And a strike, 2-2. Check to swing. 3-2.
That slider down and in. Kubel able to lay off of it. Albuquerque from the Dominican Republic, originally signed by the Cubs in 2003.
Tap foul. Kubel with a 3-hit game yesterday, but he's in a strikeout rut over the last several games. He's had a 2 strikeout game today, 3 strikeout game, and a 4 strikeout game in St. Petersburg. Full count. Fouled it off his leg. Ouch. A slider that was cutting inside out of the strike zone. That one really hurt.
Where's that pad on the shin area, but that got the right knee.
Kneecap almost, it looked like, yeah. Twins have already lost Trevor Plouffe to a tricep bruise.
Dave Prumer coming out. Oh, that's Lanny Tucker, excuse me.
Plenty of time for Perkins to get loose. Six for 7 in save opportunities on the year. And Kubel strikes out, 1 away. Kubel hobbles back to the dugout. Carsoup.com. Trivia question: the only active outfielder with 10 Gold Glove awards?
Ichiro, I believe. Ichiro Suzuki. Torrey has 9 of them out there.
Pinto takes up and in. Pinto's had a quiet day, a walk and a couple of ground balls. One of them turned into a rally-killing double play when the Twins scored 4 times in the 5th. High drive to deep left field. Home run, Josmeo Pinto. And his quiet afternoon ends with a bang.
Home run number 5 on the year for Pinto. And that was a no-doubter, second deck. Well, slider kind of left right there, and Pinto uppercut swing. Got all of it.
I must have seen Harmon hit, I don't know, 3 or 4 home runs in person. I was just a kid, it was a long time ago. But Harmon hit him like that. That was a high arcing home run into the upper deck. The man is very, very strong.
Yeah, not too many balls go up there.
That ball's pounded foul off the bat of Fuld, 1-1. The backstop, 2-1.
That home run by Pinto measured at 417 feet. That's all.
Into a pretty good breeze, we might add. I mean, the wind has definitely been a factor here today. I think it knocked down Cabrera's ball 2 at-bats ago for him back in the 6th inning, and then Martinez's fly ball that started the 7th. Here's Fuld lofting one to right. Hunter back, and it'll one-hop the wall. Fuld digging for second. He's got a 1-out double. Sam Fuld, as a Twin, has 8 hits, half of them doubles. That'll bring up Aaron Hicks.
Another slider looked like hitting over the head of Torrey. Torrey kind of went after it and then realized he couldn't get it. Plays the carom, but the speed of Fuld in with a double. His 4th double of the year.
Hicks got a 1-out double in the 6th as a right-handed batter. We said at the outset the season started off much better for Aaron with a pair of 2-hit games in the first 2 games of the year, and he's not had a 2-hit game since. 1 for 2 today with a walk. And if you're a switch hitter and you get a 2-hit game, one from each side of the plate, that's got to be the best possible situation. Get a base hit from the right side, a base hit from the left side. We'll see if he can get it done here. There's to bunt his way aboard. Foul, 1-1. One and one to the Twin center fielder. Time call. Twins have now out-homered their opponents 20-19. Again, factoring in though that they gave up 5 home runs before they hit one. That's pretty good. Doing a little dance off of second base, getting Albuquerque distracted. Yankees beat the Angels 4-3. If Hicks gets a hit and Fold scores, and it's no longer a save situation for Perkins. Doesn't mean he won't be used, but I saw Joe Nathan come into the ball game last night with a 4-run lead just because he was warmed up, and Twins have an off day on Monday. Using Perkins today wouldn't mean he would not be available tomorrow. 1-2 to Aaron Hicks. Albuquerque very deliberate. Hicks first started backing out of the box. Finally did get time from Dan Bellino.
Albuquerque focused a little bit more on Fold. Was kind of jumping off second base. Trying to get a good lead.
And Hicks strikes out. Out number 2.
Albuquerque picking up his 3rd strikeout in relief. Take a look at Albuquerque right here. Yeah, right there.
Well, but time was called, I think, just as.
I think Aaron called time.
Yep.
Yep.
Here's Escobar. Started the game as a shortstop, went to third when Plouffe went out with a bruised tricep. Down low, ball 1. Fouled away. The distraction at second base, Fold doing what the Twins envisioned Darren Mastroianni doing a lot of. But the problem is Mastroianni last year because of injury, and this year maybe just because of rust was unable to get on base much. That hasn't been a problem for Fold. On base again twice today. But Darren, with his legs or his strength as a baseball player, disrupting things and very aggressive base runner. We've already seen that though from Sam Fold.
Well, Vogel's been able to get on and create some excitement there, and the old baseball saying, you can't steal first.
Right. They're now in the Toronto organization. And Escobar strikes out on the breaking pitch. To the 9th inning, it'll be a 3-run lead for Glenn Perkins because Josmiel Pinto hit his 5th home run of the year in the bottom of the 8th. Trying to bounce back after a disappointing loss last night that dropped them back to the 500 mark. Phil Hughes has given them a great start and a great chance to win today.
He sure did.
And it's a save opportunity for Glenn Perkins. He'll be trying to pick up his 6th save of the year.
Well, the hard-throwing Perk making his 11th relief appearance.
Because of Jared Burton's craftiness in the 8th inning. He'll be the middle of the lineup, starting with Victor Martinez, but with the bases empty.
Perk picked up his 5th save on Thursday. That 9-7 win over the Rays.
Martinez, Jackson, and Castellanos here in the Tiger 9th. Up and away, ball 1. Perkins elevating himself last year to one of the best closers in the game, an all-star selection last year. There's a drive to left, and Martinez leaves the yard. And the home run that Pinto hit looming large now because the Tigers have hit a home run to draw within 2.
Yeah, Martinez again, power from both sides. He has 4 home runs now, his 2nd as a right-handed hitter. Perkins giving up his 1st home run of the year.
Pitch down and away, it looked like, and Martinez drove it on a line into the seats and left. Jackson is 1 for 3. Strike. Burton, who really struggled in the 8th inning, retired just 2 batters and had a bases loaded 1-out situation with Cabrera at the plate. And Perkins comes in and Martinez greets him with a home run. Up high, 1-1. Perkins will tell you that his success as a closer is due largely to what he learned from the all-time saves leader for the Twins, Joe Nathan. Spent a lot of time out in the bullpen with Nathan. had conversations to be sure, but saw how Joe went about his business. And if not for Mariano Rivera, Nathan, during his time with the Twins, would have been statistically the best closer in the game. 1-2 to Jackson. Breaking ball fouled away. One and two. Perkins looking to get the first out of the ninth inning in this at bat. It's down the line, twisting foul. Tigers out hitting the Twins 7-4. Number foul.
But the Twins have outwalked the Tigers 8-1.
Only one walk issued. It was a leadoff walk in the eighth. And all of it, of course, was set up with Anibal Sanchez having to leave in the third inning because of a blister. 1-2. Driven to the right field corner. Fair ball. And a double for Jackson. A great at bat. And now the tying run will come to the plate. Perkins greeted with a pair of extra base hits.
Yeah, Jackson taking that high fastball the other way, and the ball stays in fair territory and then bounces into the stands. A ground rule double. So high fastball. Jackson gets his second hit of the ball game, his sixth double of the year.
Landed about 8 inches fair. Oh, little anxiety in the ninth inning as well. Castellanos drove one to right field for a home run in his first at bat last night. Looked like he was trying to do the same thing there. An inside out swing and a foul over the Twins dugout. Chopper toward third. Nice pickup by Escobar. Good play. Hardly routine, and Escobar, who started the game at short, with a nice backhand play for the first out.
Tell you what, you can almost tell by Escobar's reaction. Do I go for that ball or I stay back? And it kind of a little short hop right there. That's a nasty little play. Ball could have come up on him. Nice soft hands into the glove, then sets himself. Makes a strong throw over to Colabello at first base.
Martinez, the batter. Big power hitting right-handed batter, J.D. Martinez, hitting in Romine's spot. For 8 with the big league club, but he mashed the ball at Toledo. 2 strikes. Martinez in 65 at bats with Toledo hit 10 home runs. You can't have numbers like that in your AAA roster, and so he was called up for situations like this. Perkins gets ahead of him 0-2. Foul back.
Yeah, Martinez just called up on April 21st, coming out of the Houston Astros organization, where he spent 3 seasons.
And came inside with a slider, and Martinez just got a sliver of the bat on it.
Julio Daniel Martinez.
Two strikes. Perkins to Martinez. Hacked foul. There's a slider, and he gets a piece of that again.
Burke throwing strikes, 16 pitches, 14 strikes.
Struck him out. Mid-90s fastball, and finally Martinez is put away. 2 down.
Well, Burke just finding a little extra right there and throwing it past the swinging Martinez.
Alex Avila walked, leading off the 8th against Jared Burton.
Avila 2 for 9 lifetime against Glenn.
Fouled away, 1 strike.
Nice crowd today, 28,122. Most of them on their feet here.
1 strike to Avila. 1-1. Pinto with a brief chat with Perkins. One and 1. Popped up, foul. It'll reach the seats. 1-2. And Perkins wants to talk to Pinto one more time. Tigers down to their last strike. Ball up and away. Avila lays off. Three and 2. Rajai Davis on deck. Struck him out. And the Twins go back above the 500 mark. A little help along the way. Tiger bullpen having some issues. They were asked to pick up the game in the 3rd inning. Nice bounce back game for the Twins as they get back above the 500 mark.
Twins took advantage of some wildness by the Detroit Tiger relievers. And Perkins gets a final out on the strikeout.
Jamie, a good ball game for the Twins as they bounce back from a disappointing series opening loss last night.
The Twins will take it. Thank you, Dick and Bert. Some late drama for Glenn Perkins, but he hangs on to get his 6th save. We'll break it down next on Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. Talk about Phil Hughes' excellent outing and more. Plus, hear from Gardy after this.